US President Donald Trump has imposed sweeping tariffs on over 180 countries and territories. The long-expected announcement comes on what he's called Liberation Day, with Trump saying he's freeing the US from unfair trade practices. Joyce Tseng has been following the story and joins us from our newsroom. Joyce, a big day for the global economy. What more can you tell us about these tariffs?
Right, it's happened. We're finally seeing the scope and size of these highly anticipated tariffs, and Trump has stayed true to his word. This is his biggest trade move yet, but also these are the highest tariff rates we're seeing from the U.S. since around 1910. Trump has declared a national economic emergency against what he says is other countries taking advantage of the U.S. He's imposed a baseline 10% tariff on all goods from any country going into the United States. But also he's imposed an extra higher rate, customized tariff rates on certain countries he's deemed as the worst offenders. And on that list is Taiwan.
We didn't want to it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because of that.
Following through on his campaign pledge to revive American industry, U.S. President Donald Trump has unveiled sweeping global tariffs with a chart listing out some of the country's biggest trading partners, levied individually with rates ranging from 10% to 50%. On the left, what the Trump administration has calculated as the trade barriers countries have against the United States. The right, what Washington is imposing in retaliation.
What we do is we cut it in half. We charge them. My answer is very simple. If they complain, if you want your tariff rate to be zero, then you build your product right here in America, because there is no tariff if you build your plant, your product in America.
Markets in Asia tumbled in the wake of the announcement, and China's yuan falling to its lowest levels in 7 weeks. China was at the top of Trump's list with a new 34% tariff on its goods going to the U.S. That's on top of the 20% tariff on Chinese shipments Trump already has in place. Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan all also on the board.
Taiwan, where they took all of our computer chips and semiconductors.
Though repeating his accusation of Taiwan stealing U.S. chip business, Trump praised Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC's recent multi-billion-dollar investment to the U.S. Despite that, he says Taipei has trade barriers up amounting to 64%. So he's slapping on half of that as new taxes on all Taiwanese goods to the United States.
What really surprised me is that how did it come up with just slashing it into half? Like if you charge me 64% and then I will charge you 32%. And actually in Trump's turn, he calls it discounted reciprocal tariff. This has never been heard in trade economy. It's more or less a political stunt in some sense.
Economists around the world have warned the move could fundamentally change the global economy, and not for the better. Prices will likely go up for everyone, including American consumers. In Japan, where its products now face a 24% U.S. tariff, Tokyo still looking to get an exemption.
発表を受け、改めて米国政府に対し、今般の措置が極めて遺憾である旨伝えるとともに、措置の見直しを強く申し入れたところでございます。
In Taiwan, where markets are closed for a national holiday, some people concerned about its impact.
我觉得这个不是一个很好的办法，因为你把关税提高那么多，其实当地进口商他会把售价转嫁给当地的消费者，那这样其实也是会造成世界经济不稳定。
What American did is affect the whole world, not only Taiwan.
Markets had already been reeling from this slew of tariffs Trump imposed earlier. That prompted targeted countries to say they will retaliate. Trump has remained adamant that U.S. prosperity needs such extreme measures. As putting pen to paper, he erects historic barriers around the world's largest consumer economy. Again, Taiwan's markets are closed as it's a national holiday for the Tomb Sweeping Festival, but the cabinet has come out with this statement protesting Trump's policy. They say that the 32% tariff on Taiwan is, quote, strongly unreasonable and highly regrettable, and that they will be having serious negotiations with Washington. Now, Taiwan does run a large trade surplus with the U.S., almost $74 billion US dollars, selling more goods to the U.S. than it buys, and that's really put Taiwan in the line of fire for Trump. As for negotiations and what Taiwan can do, it's really in this difficult position because Taipei, of course, relies heavily on Washington, not just as a trading partner, but for national security purposes, and so it will want to stay on Trump's good side. Reese?
Thanks for those updates, Joyce. That was Joyce Tseng live from our newsroom.